Yeah, and there's a poster there. Right. I think I actually talked about that. And
Yes.
You're not Deanna.
so I'll sit in it, right here. Am I blocking anything important like the wind? Yeah, that's good.
All right, so this originally had a real dash in it?
According to Jay Orber,
right.
And of course it would make sense if we watched the, if we watched Knight Rider 2000, probably to figure out which scenes this thing was in.
Right.
Because clearly it would have been very good for scenes where the camera is behind the driver or the driver in the passenger. The Hawk, you get to see the dash. Who knows? But I mean, we can. I haven't taken the time to really do that since I got this car.
Right.
But we all could do that if we want. I'm sure at some point I will, you will, she will. Who knows?
Right.
I know the guy who is the Knight 4000 archivist. He has a website dedicated
Scott.
to. I can guarantee Scott will probably be the most likely person to do that. So I'll work with him on that. But according to your question, according to Jay Orber, and it makes sense all of us, this car had a fully functioning dash, right, and seats. Actually, he said they did have seats because he made the seats himself. I asked him about the seats. I always thought they came out of an early 90s Ford Astro van, I think. They had the open headrest. Am I right about that? Anybody remember the early 90s Astro van?
Well,
was an Astro? No, Chevy made the Astro. Ford made the Aerostar.
Okay.
Ford made the Aerostar van. And my memory might be wrong here, so somebody should correct me.
Well, the base car was a Dodge Stealth, I think, that was built on.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm getting there.
All right.
I'm just talking about me for a minute. So
okay.
Forgive me for the rabbit trail, but I always thought those seats came out of a Ford Aerostar van because they had the open headrest style.
Okay.
And it would have been the same era. But Jay told me, he said, no, we built those seats ourselves. We built the frame out of metal. And then, we had our upholstery people, work with the foam, and we custom made those seats, just like that, so that, so you had the open headrest, stuntmen, and what have you. So he custom made the seats that went into hero cars, and he custom made the seats down here. There's holes clearly where the seats are bolted in both cases. So, this would have had, seats, full interior. There would have been a headliner in it. There's evidence of where the headliner was. The door panels would have been nice and new. And the headliner would have been complete. So in here, it would have looked just like a real car. Not only a real car, it would look just like the inside of the Knight Industries 4000 from Knight Rider 2000. That sounds so confusing. But that's the way it is. So the dash would have been finished with the wheels, and the seats would have been there, would have been here, and the carpet would have been new. This would be the original carpet after 20 years of dirt and dust. I'm getting myself in dirty. It all would have been. Now what you see here is a dash and a wheel that Jay made for me not long ago. He says that he used the same exact molds that he used to build these for the movie, for the Knight Rider 2000 movie. So, I think that sounds very reasonable. And so these were recently made out of those molds. We just put them up here for display purposes. But I'm sure that there was a fully functioning dash in here when filming was done with the but these are not it.
Okay.
So the only thing on this car that is not original would be this and the things that are holding them in place. Everything else, every bracket, every piece of carpet, every screw, as far as I know, is what was used in the original series. And especially the paint, that's why it looks so fresh. It hasn't been repainted.
Did Jay say that the only dashes that they made were for the insert cars? Did he say anything about that?
No.
Did the hero cars have dashes?
He said he made, he made these cars, which includes the dashes.
Yeah.
So he would have made the dashes, and we didn't talk about the electronics, and I don't think that he necessarily remembered.
Right.
So, quite frankly, I think we should go to his shop and interview him about that. We'll just bring this back and say, let's talk some more.
Just wheel it on over.
Let's just wheel it on over. It travels well.
Great.
Well, that's what I know about it. So, what other questions do you have? I love to talk about it.
Yeah,
as you can tell, I just go on and on and on.
Yeah, I think you covered most of everything.
Great.
So these doors look like they're wood or something.
Yeah, well, see, they're fiberglass.
Oh.
The fiberglass shell, which you see here, is fiberglass here. You can probably see it. That's fiberglass. And then fiberglass ends are pieces of plywood here. So there's plywood cuts, all right, and the plywood is held in because the fiberglass is molded into it, just like right here. See, the firewall is a piece of plywood, and the fiberglass just comes right up and meets it. So, you know, there certainly is plywood. The floor is plywood. So it's fiberglass, plywood, and a metal frame. And hinges that belong in a house door, not a car door. But hey, they work. And you know, when this car was just built, it looked this, I'm sure, just about this pretty, or at least as close as it needed to be on camera with the resolution that, you know, was used for movies, made-for-TV movies in 1991. That's as I understand it. I didn't have the privilege of being there or working on these things, but having not been there and worked on these things, that's what I was able to learn. So that's what we have.
Great.
Yeah. So fiberglass, wood.